Okay, so we're back with the kittens, and I have taken a paper towel and a Q-tip and got into the little crevices. I missed that little crevice right there. You see that little bit of water down in that deep crack right there? I'm gonna come back and get that right now. And make sure I get any crevices on these cats here. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to take, you see those little X's down in their eyes right there? Since I'm going to try to draw them sitting straight up. If it's a closed eye sculpt, it has a tendency, the pressure builds up in the head and it distorts it. And anyway, I was going to cut them open to put the eyes in from the back and take these little flaps and glue to hold the eyes in place so they don't move. Okay, so I got this new X-Acto knife. Alright, probably should have went ahead and opened this before and got on camera, but I don't know, I wasn't thinking. Alright, so let me set this stuff out of the way here. And try to use the camera. Sorry about that. Accidentally turned it off. You see there's that X right there. I don't know if I can keep it in frame and see the cut without cutting into the front of the eye. But I'll do the best I can. Alright. Let's see. What was cutting? Alright. I had to take it out of camera frame for just a second so I can look for myself there. And see there, we got it cut. So I'm going to do this 3 more times and we'll be right back. Okay. So I have achieved the cutting of the eyes. I could see that there, see? So hopefully when it is baking, it will allow the pressure to not build up as bad. Okay. So, alright. It's time to get the painting. Get the painting. Alright. I'll be back just a moment. Okay, so we're back. We have some Bountiful Baby Ultramarine Blue. This is Genesis Heat Set Paints. And we have some Bountiful Baby Titanium White. This is also Genesis Heat Set Paints. And I have this glass baby food jar. I'm going to store this paint in between coats, because I might not do all the neutralizing today, and I don't want to mix up the coat and it be different color. So we're going to thin this out with some Mona Lisa, this paint thinner, and I have some brand new cosmetic wedges that I got at Dollar Tree. Now you got to be careful because these have a thicker density. I bought some the other day that were, the same brand and everything, but they were a flimsier sponge and didn't work well. Okay, and we got our brush that we're going to apply the paint with, and then I have a dry brush. I'm going to go into all these little creases and crevices and keep it from pulling up, and we're going to dry brush out that, because we don't want it building up in those little cracks, because that will look horrible. Okay. I guess I should have gotten a clean jar. This is not clean. Let me go over here to my stash and pick out another one. Alright, yeah, this one's clean, so that's clean. So, alright, so go ahead and get us some paint thinner on in here. I'm not in the camera shot, sorry about that. I'm not used to working. Alright, in the camera. Alrighty. Okay. I need another brush. I don't want to stick the blue into the water into the blue. We'll just use this over here for that purpose. What do I do with it? Alright, let's get some blue going. You know, I really can't tell. You can't tell paint on a brush, you know. Let's just get it in there. Give it a little stir. Alright. Turn the pretty blue in there. And you got this little lump or two in the bottom. You see that lump? You don't want that. That will stick on there and be a big lump of paint if it were to dry that way. Just saying from experience, you don't want that. Use your little paper towel over here. I'm gonna set this aside. I'm not shutting it yet. I'm not done. I don't know if I'm done or not. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm done. See, that's what happens when you use paper. You get paint all mixed in there. Get you some white on there. Probably a little bit more than that. Give it a stir in there. Look how pretty that is. It's a beautiful cornflower blue color. Alright, look. Not in the cameras. Let me look for myself. Alright. I think we need a little more white in there. This is what your towel is for, your little wipey. When you come back. Alright. A little bit more white in there. Now see, oh yeah, that looks pretty. We're not going for pretty. I don't know why I just said that. But it is a pretty color. Alright, so I think we're good, so we need to put the lids on this stuff. Especially if you have cats. You have a tendency to get all nosy and stuff. Go ahead and put the lids on that. So that way we only got open what we're working with. Okay. Now it's just really thin because I'm going to put, you know, there's a piece of white in there. You see that? It's sneaking around in the bottom of that jar. This is another good reason to use baby food jars because you can swish it around and see if there's any lumps of paint there. Okay. Look at that. Did you see that? Paintbrush broke. Oh, man. Now I gotta fish that out. That's not what happens. That's just a fluke. That's one of them outtakes. Okay. See, I told you this is not a tutorial. Alright, we'll set that aside. Okay. Okay, so what you're going to do is what they call mop brushing, which you just load your brush up with paint. You know, not getting too much so it runs off. And you just apply the paint. You know, I can only do one thing at a time, concentrate on one thing at a time. So either looking through the camera lens and making sure you're seeing what I see, or actually paint the kit. So this is not a tutorial, so I'm just going to give you a basic rundown. So you apply the paint, and then you take your cosmetic sponge, and you pounce it to keep it from building up, and to get a more even apply. Okay. And then you take a dry brush and you see all these little wrinkles in this cat's head, or creases, or folds, or whatever you want to call them. You run this brush through them little creases so the paint doesn't pull up in there. You don't want paint pulled up in your creases, it will look bad. Okay, so let me go ahead and put this on. I'm not going to do it on camera because I can't focus on what you're looking at and actually focus on painting it at the same time. I can only do one or the other, so we'll be back. Okay, so since this is not a baby, a human baby, my drying rack doesn't have enough space for all the pieces. But since the head can sit up by itself, it's fine. So I've applied one coat of this to, the neutralizer to the kit. And I just want to point out that you can't see the difference at this point. The kit on the head right here on the right has had a coat, and the kit on the left is still blank. You can't tell the difference at this stage. And that's why I wanted to put the dots on the head, so I can remember which kit. I have a bad memory ever since my car accident, so I wanted to remember which kit has, how many coats each kit has, basically. Another little tip is if you, in between working on limbs, when you start a new limb, give it a little swish here, because it has a tendency to settle a little bit. And you want this to be thin, or I do. This is a personal preference here. I like for it to be thin, really thin, and apply lots and lots of coats, layers. That's my personal preference. Some people like their paint to be thicker and apply less coats. It's only what you want to do. It depends on your personal style, how you want to do it. But this is how I do it. If that makes sense, this is how I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the kit on the left here. And I'll let them sit and dry, and I'll come back and show you how to bake them. So let's do it. Well, look at there, people. Both of those kittens fit in there. You remember my dome that broke. Hang on a minute. Get the lid back on. Alright, so you see that button right there? This is a new wave oven. This is cook temperature. 2, 6, 5. And I'll push cook time. 8. And start. I'll move these out of the way, because when it comes out, it's going to be hot. And then we're going to lay it over here and cool. It takes a good 45 minutes to an hour for this thing to cool down enough so you can paint another coat. And this is another reason why it takes so long to reborn them. Okay, so I won't make you wait for the whole 8 minutes. We'll just come back when I'm ready to put another coat on in about an hour. We'll come back and put the second coat on. Okay, so I just took them out of the oven right there, and now they're sitting here cooling. These little little hot. Like, no, really? You just took him out of a 265-degree oven. They're a little warm. I think that's what's supposed to happen. I know, but I fuss about it every time. Okay, so this one has 2 coats of paint, and this one has 1 coat of paint. And you really still can't tell any difference between the two. I mean, I can't. We're going to go ahead and put another coat on this one and bake it. And then I'm going to be done for the night because I don't like to run this new age oven more than 4 times a day and bake booger faces legs twice. So 1 more on these 2 here, and then I'll be done for the night. I don't like to let the paint sit around raw as uncured because I don't know when I could get back to it. I mean, it could be tomorrow, it could be a couple days, depending on what's going on. So I'll go ahead and paint this one, second coat. I'll let them dry for about an hour. I'll pop them in the oven and let them cool off, and then I'll put them back on the drying racks, and they'll be ready for the 3rd coat, which will probably happen tomorrow if nothing comes up between now and then. So, basically that's about it. I won't bore you with it. Like I said, this is not a tutorial. This is more of a what Callie's doing. So yeah. So anyways, that'll be that. This will be the end of this video. Come back for the next thrilling installment of how to watch paint dry. Just joking. Some people find it interesting, some people find it boring. I try to find a happy medium. When I did the Baby Yoda, people were complaining I didn't show step by step how I done it. I just kind of summarized it too much. Anyway, we're gonna break it down just a little bit more this time, and not to the point where it's drawn out and hours long and boring. Alright, anyway, this is Callie with Callie's Room with Reborn's Cats and Nonsense, and I'll catch all you cool cats and kittens back here again tomorrow. Alright.